You are listening to The Underground Subway with host David Alston, a podcast dedicated to giving you the strategies to live a free and better life. Here is David Alston.
Hi, I'm David Alston, host of The Underground Subway. Now, I want to welcome you to a podcast that is dedicated to one thing, and that's giving you the tools and strategies that you need, that I need, we all need, in order to live a better life, a life full of liberty and freedom. What is a life of liberty? Well, liberty is defined as being able to move, to act, to think, to speak without restraints. We need to live a better life so that we can operate in this world without the things that are holding us back and holding us down. Harriet Tubman said this, and I always quote it. She said that I could have freed a lot more slaves if only they knew that they were slaves. That means that there were people living somewhere down in the bottom of North Carolina or Mississippi who were slaves who did not even realize that they were living far beneath their privileged lives. Listen, my friends, how many of us are living from California to North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Miami, Florida, Cincinnati, wherever we may be listening, Toronto, all over the world? How many of us are living a life in which we don't even realize that we have chains restricting us? Well, this podcast is dedicated to revealing those chains and then giving us an opportunity to remove those chains. And so we do that by bringing on quality and qualified guests who will talk about their life experiences and the things that they've gone through and reveal some strategies that help them to live a better life. And if it worked for them, it will work for us. And so I want to thank you for joining this podcast. It means the world to me that you would tune in to listen, especially now as we approach, we're actually in this new year. We are in 2023. We have survived what so many said, was the most difficult year of all, 2022. But guess what? We said the same thing about 2020, 2021, and we said it about 2022. Well, we're in 2023 now. And because we're here, let's make the most of this year. I am excited about my first guest for 2023. I'm excited to usher in and bring in the new year with him. His name is Chanellor K. Jackson. And let me tell you something about Chanellor K. Jackson. He was born in Fulton County, Georgia, to Native American parents. He grew up in Smyrna, Georgia, and attended Stetson University. For 9 years, he played football at the high school and collegiate level. After graduating with a bachelor's degree in communication and media studies, Chanellor lived abroad in China from 2018 to 2019. Chanellor fell into writing after his traumatic experience of being arrested and detained in Beijing for 14 days. His first book, entitled 14 Days in Beijing, has ranked number one over 15 times on Amazon in multiple genres. Chanellor has also released a romance saga about a man's first step towards gaining emotional intelligence titled You Love and You Learn, and Real Love Never Dies, which is also now available on Amazon. I want to welcome to the Underground Subway and wish a happy new year to Chanellor K. Jackson. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
Hey, man, that was quite an intro right there, brother. Appreciate it. Man, blessings and balance to you. Blessings and balance to everyone that's tuning in right now. Happy New Year to you all. Hey, man, appreciate you for having me.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you joining us. Well, let's just talk about life. Now that we're in 2023 and we've gone through so many things over the last year, and reading your bio, you've gone through so many things in your life. You've gone through so many things in life that many people a lot older than you have never experienced. And let's talk about life and how we can live a better life based on your experience. Your bio mentions that you lived in China. And before I talk about your experiences on the negative side, which is, well, even if we say negative, it was a positive because you survived and you're able to help others. I want to ask you a question about living abroad and living here in America. What do you think? You lived in China for over a year, and what do you think is the biggest difference in your mind between people here in America and people abroad in China? Is it just, can we just say that it's the food, or is it something deeper than that?
It's definitely deeper. It's just based on tradition and culture. So, you know what I'm saying? The Chinese have a stronger tradition, I would say, in a more disciplined, far more disciplined tradition
Okay.
entirely, in comparison to the vast majority of the world, for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're such a strict people, orderly people, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, but at the same time, uh, they're peaceful as well. You know what I'm saying? They're peaceful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do they have the best knowledge of people from different cultures, ethnicities, and backgrounds? Absolutely not. It's China. It's nothing but them over there. Here in
Okay.
America, it's a melting pot. You're going to experience people from all different types of cultures and ethnic backgrounds and stuff like that. But the ignorance, I say, is still almost the same level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? On both spectrums, as far as you know what I'm saying, the knowledge you have in depthly of that other culture and that other group of people. You know what I'm saying? You're really not going, unless you took the time or you've really just been interested in this, you know what I'm saying, that culture, then you'll dive into it and take it upon yourself to study it. But if that's not the case, then you really not gonna know too much about any other group of people aside from the stereotypes you've learned
Right.
growing up. And that's the same potom from China to America. Any place you go on this earth, everything is different. Perspective is different because
Right.
life is completely different everywhere you go. Even we talking just in America. Like I said, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Now, I'm really from Smyrna, Georgia. For those that are familiar of the Atlanta area, I'm from Smyrna. So Smyrna compared to Atlanta, two different places. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? But man, we talking 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying, 15, 20 minutes apart from one another. But it's
Right.
still drastically different. And you can make that comparison for anybody based on the city or state they, you know what I'm saying, they come from. Now
Mm-hmm.
you take that comparison from just a nationwide standpoint and you make it a global. Oh wow,
Right.
life is
That's true.
drastically different now. Now that we're really thinking about it. So with that being said, how can anyone say they know the wrong or right way to live this life when everywhere you go, it is drastically
Mhm.
different?
Right. I'm from Philly, and one of my favorite movies is Philadelphia with Denzel Washington and Tom Hanks. And in that movie, Denzel is an attorney, and he asks a witness a question, and then he follows up the question by saying, "Now explain it to me like I'm a 6-year-old." So I want you to explain to me like I'm a 6-year-old something you first said when you started talking about the difference in the two cultures. You said that China was a more disciplined culture. What do you
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm a 6-year-old. What does that mean? Because if I'm not a 6-year-old, then I'm thinking, okay, discipline means that they, in the form of punishment, things like that's. I'm sure that's not what you mean. So explain it to me like I'm a 6-year-old. What do you mean when you say that another nation is a more disciplined culture?
Yeah, for sure. So China is a communist country. So it means this place is ran by this one person, essentially. And you got to abide by this person's rules. And if you don't, you will face repercussions. And a lot of the freedoms we have here in America, you know what I'm saying, luxuries, the the um the rate between the dollar, all of those little things,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's not the same for somebody that's on that side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that over there. Just like how we used to talk about Harriet Tubman. And if only people knew they were slaves in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Those people really don't know. You know what I'm saying? What type, I mean, they probably do know, but it's like, hey, they love it. They are proud of it, and they're gonna do it. It's been told of them to do. You know what I'm saying? Here in
Right.
America, no, folks rebel, folks gonna buck, folks gonna do. we not just gonna we not going for just any and everything for the most part.
Right.
Them over
Right.
there, oh no. What'd you say? Jump high, high? Them folks hitting back flips, aerials, they front flips, they going crazy. So, but it's because it's really it's a disciplinary act first and
Mm-hmm.
foremost. You know what I'm saying? They are definitely, it's a strict country. Like people I was locked up with, especially the locals, like the native Chinese people, uh, for the smallest, pettiest things. You know what I'm saying? Not driving without a license or fighting or stealing. You know what I'm saying? The smallest petty crime these folks is locked up for.
Wow. So you think that, would you agree or disagree that there are positive and negatives on both sides? Because you mentioned that they get locked up for the smallest things, where we have politicians that do, or politicians, well, not politicians, public figures that commit major crimes who never pay for them. Because, it's just the way our system is. You mentioned that they are a nonviolent community. Over
Yes.
here, we are very violent. I remember a shooting that happened over there recently, and they were in shock because they said, we don't have guns.
No, they don't.
It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So do you think there are pros and cons to both, or?
Oh yeah, definitely. It is pros and cons to both. Living over there, and you know what I'm saying, and you'll definitely like appreciate being an American, because one, you're viewed as, man, Americans are viewed as like almost the gods. Like, we're like, oh man, you're American. Oh wow, especially if you're a Black American. Oh man, they love us because we're just we're the culture. We're the culture. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
And that's hard to fathom. And I hate to interrupt you. I love to,
Not at all.
I love to hear you talk. But I just had to jump in with that because you said, especially who? You said they love Americans, especially who?
Black Americans.
What? See, and that's what's hard for me to fathom, because so you're saying that here in America, Black Americans are almost on the bottom of the quote unquote totem pole, but over there we're listed as gods, viewed as gods. Is that what you're saying?
I say the perspective of a Black person changes one's viewpoint, versus in America, where you, especially in Atlanta, you walk down the street, you're gonna see a brother, sister everywhere you go. You're really not even gonna acknowledge or pay them folks any mind, for real. Okay. Versus over in China, where it is rare to come across another foreigner alone, a Black person from America. They might be from Africa, they might be from Canada, they might be from Europe, but to be from America though, that's really rare. Because it's like, one, everybody wants to go to America that's not from America or doesn't live in America. They want to at least travel there or live there eventually, for the financial opportunities and all, you know what I'm saying, just the amenities. So with you being American, it's like, okay, oh wow, we got an American in our establishment. One, that's impressive, because hey, the company or the place you in might not be used to having foreigners in there. So yeah, not just any foreign, we got an American in here, the American money. Okay, we got the American money here, and it's a brother. Whoa! Now for a white dude to come walking here, okay, cool. That's not out of the ordinary. But a brother come walking here, okay, that's different. And now I'm more intrigued to, okay, do you fit all the stereotypes I've learned, or is that not the case? Oh, and it's not the case, well, now I'm just really curious. I just want to learn. That's just from the Chinese perspective. And like I said, as a foreigner, you're not gonna see too many brothers and sisters, for real. So when you do come across another one, it's like you're gonna acknowledge that person. You're gonna speak to them. Y'all gonna embrace each other as if you know what I'm saying, y'all grew up together. Right. But it's a complete stranger you just so happen to run into on the other side of the world. So it's a deeper reverence, honestly, that you wouldn't even be able to experience here in the States, just cause unless you live in the predominantly in an area that's predominantly possessed with people of different groups. You know what I'm saying? So
wow, right. So talk to us about when you're in China and you're experiencing these highs and lows and getting adjusted to the culture over there and the customs over there and trying to survive, and all of a sudden something happened to you that changed your life.
Yeah. So I entered China on October 10th, 2018. And I was supposed to do a year. My contract was set for a year. So that's how long I was scheduled to do, and that's how long I wanted to do. That's how, at least as long as I planned to stay. So it took me about a month and a half just to get adjusted. Because of course, when we get there, they put us up in a hotel for 2 weeks to go through training and for us to find an apartment or a place to stay. So within that process, you got to train and you got to house hunt. You know what I'm saying? While being in a foreign country, you know what I'm saying, and getting adjusted to everything that comes with it. Trying to, you know what I'm saying, discover what foods you like or what type of what's the area like, you know what I'm saying? How are the people, you know what I'm saying? What's around me? What can I do for fun? Like just trying to, you know what I'm saying, just learn everything all over again. How to, you know what I'm saying, everything. How does the train work? How does, you know what I'm saying, the phones and stuff. Apps are just completely different. You can't use regular apps like you can do in America. You can't get on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of that, just free will. No, that is banned in China. So you, you know what I'm saying? You gotta use their apps or get you a VPN so you can be able to access those applications that we have here in the States. So everything was just an adjustment. And then of course, waiting to get the money rolling in from working a job. So once about a month and a half in, once everything, money rolling in, we done got settled into the apartment. Oh yeah, we was lit then. Oh yeah, China was, that's when we started having fun. China was absolutely amazing. I enjoyed working. That's why I got hired to teach English to children. And I was teaching kids as young as 3 years old all the way up to 14. And I enjoyed it for real, for real. And I was mainly working with the kids that's in at like elementary school grade range. So I'm working with the babies for real. So most of our lessons are nothing but games, essentially, just to keep them engaged. So with me playing football vast majority of my life, I'm finna see my game is gonna see who athletic. We're gonna run, we're gonna race, we're gonna jump, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see who athletic and who smart at the same time. So you know what I'm saying, we had a blast in class. So I enjoy that aspect. And man, the food, authentic, real Chinese food, man, fire, man, crazy. I enjoyed the food. I was eating good every day. For on average, man, I can go through the whole day eating like, you know what I'm saying, 3-4 times a day on less than like $10.
Wow.
The whole day, less than $10 for real. So that was lit. The nightlife in China was in Beijing was definitely dope. As a foreigner, that's a plus. Being a foreigner is always a plus because now you're a rare amenity. Oh, you know, priority promoters, oh man, they can get you in the club for free, give you a section for free, and bring you bottles for free just because they're gonna use your likeness to promote the club. Like, hey, look, we got foreigners in our club partnering with us. Come party with us over here at da 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 da. So, yeah, the club nightlife was lit. Meeting other foreigners out there, that was another great phase of the journey. Just to, like I said, meet people from different walks of the world, but we all meeting in Beijing. You know what I'm saying? So you're just so interested to know everybody's journey and what led them here, and what's their plans moving forward. So that was definitely a vibe as well. So I was enjoying China. And then on April 4th, 2019, and some things hit the fan.
Wow. Well, before you tell us about what hit the fan, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back to hear what hit the fan. All right, we're back with Chancellor K. Jackson, and he was talking about what happened in Beijing. Tell us what happened and what hit the fan.
So on April 4th, 2019, it was a day off for me. I'm getting ready to head to an event to meet with some friends and colleagues. So before I was getting ready to go, I'm a pregame. So for those that don't know what pre-gaming is, that's like when you and your friends or whatever finna get ready to go out on a night full of festivities. But before y'all go out, y'all meet at somebody's house and y'all turn up at the house first and then go out. So that's what I was doing. I was pre-gaming, drinking some Chinese liquor and smoking some cannabis at my little silver pipe, listening to music. After I get done, get dressed, finna get ready to leave, hear a knock at the door. Curious to see who it is, look through the peephole. It's 3 officers from the Beijing police. Heart instantly sunk to my stomach. And I scramble to put everything up, open the door, they enter. One is communicating to me through a translation app on his phone, asking me about drugs. I'm from Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? It's the city of finesse. We live by the finesse. We die by the finesse. So I'm saying here playing the fool. Like, I don't know what he talking about. Like, he crazy. So I'm like, passport? Yeah, let me go grab my passport. Yeah, bro. You tripping. Let me go grab my documentation. So I go grab my documentation, bring it to him to look over. And time passes. Another officer enters the apartment with something in his hand. He hands that item to the officer I was originally speaking to, and that officer communicates to me that I need to pee into this cup. So it's a drug test right there on the spot. And right then and there, I was like, oh yeah, this is over with. So do the drug test, fail the drug test, of course. And now at this point, there's about 8 officers in the apartment. One in particular speaks English fluently, and now he's questioning me about failing the drug test, where I get the weed from, when was the last time I smoked, da 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 da. And like I said before, I'm from the city of finesse. You know what I'm saying? You live by the finesse, you die by the finesse. So I'm going back and forth with this officer. Every question he's posing to me, I'm just blurting out answers. Whatever comes to mind first, I'm just blurting it out. Mind you, I'm still high, and the moment is serious, it's big. You know what I'm saying? Pissing down my leg a little bit. But I'm just really just trying to hang on to the hope that they don't come across my stash, the rest of my stash. So we going back and forth, and then he pretty much makes it clear and evident that, you know what I'm saying, the charade was up. They knew I had more, and I was caught red-handed. So as soon as he made it clear, I was like, okay, cool. All the anxiety and stress just completely, it drained. It was like chills went down my entire body. But after it went down, it was completely flushed. And now it was like, okay, it is what it is at this point, and now I have to hold myself accountable. So fess up to it. They want me to show them my stash. So I get up to show them where I put my stash. But lo and behold, once I get there, everything is on display. Like, they've been found it. Like, they was just trying to see whatever information I was willing to give up. But since I wasn't giving nothing up, that's when they broke the camel's back. So they put the handcuffs on me, confiscate everything, bag it up, and then they escort me out of the apartment, out of the building, and then set me down into the police van. And at this point, all forms of communication come to an end. I have no clue what's going to happen next. Of course, this being my first time being in any amount of trouble like this, but, you know what I'm saying, knowing my culture, I know not to talk to these folks. It ain't really like I can talk to these people in general, just because there's a language barrier. So I can't even talk to them folks anyway. So I really ain't got nothing to say, and they ain't explaining nothing else to me. Nobody knows this is happening to me. So I'm like, I'm just going to see as I go. So we get to one precinct there briefly, get back in the van. I'm confused. I'm like, what are we doing? Where are we going? And now we arrive at another precinct. This time they had me change clothes, throw me in a holding cell for a little bit. Then just to come back and get me to do my official interrogation. Now, by this time, I've had plenty of time to come up with a good story to finesse them with. So on me. So they come get me and they escort me to the basement of the precinct and into this room and walk me to this metal chair that looks like an electric chair and open it, unhook it. And I'm looking at them crazy. And they looking at me. Like, I'm like, all right. So I sit down and they lock me into the chair. And then 2 officers enter the room. One is doing the interrogation. The other one is transcribing. So go through the interrogation. The officer transcribing brings me the paper to read it. Mind you, everything is written in Mandarin, so I can't read it. But they tell me to sign it and thumbprint it, and I sign and thumbprint it, and they release me from the chair, then take me back upstairs, do my mugshot, handprint, and then throw me back into the cell. And at that point, now I've been reflecting constantly throughout, you know what I'm saying, since being arrested. I've been reflecting since I've been in the van. But at this point, I'm just reflecting on if they bought the statement or wondering, you know what I'm saying, what are my partners thinking that you know what I'm saying, that I didn't meet at the event. Um, and wondering like, okay, what's gonna happen next? I done, you know what I'm saying, being cooperative, you know what I'm saying, but working with these people. What's, you know what I'm saying, what we finna do now? What's happening next? So hours and hours and hours pass. Highs finally coming down. It finally coming down, and I'm fading in out of consciousness. And then I get woken up from them, you know what I'm saying, calling me from the outside the cell. So I walk out the cell, they walk me to the lobby and bring me my basket of clothes, tell me to get dressed. I'm like, yes. Yes, see, look, you know what I'm saying, to stay down, to work with these folk, to finesse them. Now they're finna let me go. So I throw my clothes on, and I'm just waiting for the next set of orders. They had me follow them behind the door, follow them through a door that's behind the front desk in the lobby. So after we enter through the door, we're in the hallway now. And at the end of the hallway is a small room crowded with officers. So I'm following the CO to this room. And as I enter the room, I can only assume that this is some form of evidence room, just because it's evidence bags everywhere. No sense or form of organization at all. I'll just cluster. But in front of me is, slightly in front of me is a table. And on the center of the table is everything that was confiscated from my apartment. To the right of the table are TV monitors where they watch the footage from the officer's body cameras. Now, this is the interesting phase within the book because, one, we're still in the first chapter, pretty much. We're still in the first chapter. So, and like I said, all forms of communication are non-existent. So throughout the whole story, I don't have no clue how long I'm going to be here. And with that being said, my ancestors, my guardian angels, God, Allah, you know what I'm saying, the Most High, however you want to refer to it as, sends me signs and messages letting me know how the process is going to work, how long I'm going to be here, and how my release will be. And I received one of the very first signs within the first chapter when they take me to the evidence room. But this is the only sign I received that's live and in action. The rest of my signs and messages occur in my dreams. So they take the weed and they weigh it up right in front of me. And also, as a reader, you're curious to know how much does he actually have. So they weighed the cannabis up, and it totals out to be 1.4 grams. For those that partake in cannabis or partook in cannabis at one point in time, you know 1.4 grams isn't a lot. If you've never partaken in cannabis, we're talking units of measurement. 1.4 grams of anything isn't a lot. So I ain't really had much on me. But you look at that decimal, that number, 1.4. 1.4. If you remove that point, what number do you get?
14.
Hence the title of the book, 14 Days in Beijing. That was one of the very first signs I received. But at that point in time, I it went clean over my head. So put everything on paper, had me sign and thumbprint it, and then we get back in the van. And I'm like, okay, it's 1:00 in the morning. I've been in custody all day. I done work with y'all. You know what I'm saying? They got to be taking me home. We're riding, 30, 40 minutes pass, and we arrived at a facility detailed with tall walls and barbed wire. And that's where I was housed for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 men to one cell, 9 wooden beds, 3 soups a day. And literally all I had was one Tupperware bowl and one plastic spoon for 14 days.
Wow. And once you were released, what happened? Did you immediately come back to the States, or did you just stay there and continue living there?
So once foreigners are released from Beijing Jail 6, you are then taken to your apartment to pack up the rest of your belongings, and then straight to the airport where you're deported from the country. Wow. Yeah, immediately.
So we're running out of time. You know, time flies when you're having fun or in a good conversation. It's definitely a good conversation. But if all of this was in the first chapter, talk to us about the overall message of the book. What was that message that you can share with us to say this is how we can live a better life?
It's pretty much, I got a quote for you, pretty much, that I feel is the overall message behind 14 days. It's long-winded,
That's all
running
right.
through this life like it was mine.
Wow.
Never settling, but setting every goal high.
All right.
1,000 burpees on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what's a mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience. And none of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. So who would you want to define you? Someone else or yourself? Whatever you choose to do, homie, get your heart to it and stay strong.
Wow. That's amazing. You've got to send me that so I can post that on social media, because that is powerful.
On me.
That is powerful. I mean, read that one line again about the lesson.
The best teacher in life is your own experience. None of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. So who would you want to define you? Someone else or yourself?
Wow. I was just telling someone that the other day, you can't go through life being defined by what they say about you, but who do you say that you are? And that, man, that is powerful. That is powerful, really. I mean, that's straight up. I know this is a podcast and I'm trying to be professional, but that's straight up dope. I told you I'm from Philly. I'm from Philly, so let me say it like we say it in Philly. That John is straight up dope, G.
Oh, me.
or dope, that John is dope.
Me, it's, you know what I'm saying? Young cat, fresh out of college. You know what I'm saying? Then went abroad to work. You know what I'm saying? Find himself, really. You know what I'm saying? Just find himself, and then he falls on his face. And it has to start all over again. And it's just like, it's just a story of resiliency. You know what I'm saying? I just, at the end of the story, I was like, okay, I get out now. I'm walking towards the plane now. You know what I'm saying? That's the end of the story. It's like, okay, now what happens next? But it's like you holding it in your hand.
Wow. Do you do anything? Are you in the process of doing anything to pay it forward by mentoring the next generation? You were doing that as an educator over there. What are you doing here to help pay it forward to the next generation?
Well, yeah, I'm still in education. I'm a tutor, English tutor and writing tutor for 3rd and 5th grade at elementary school. I also coach high school football, and I'm also a life coach to at-risk teens that have gotten arrested for drugs. And we use 14 days in Beijing as a part of our lessons to pull our life skills from. And also own my own publishing company, which all my books are published through. And I have a service now where I coach aspiring authors. So anybody out there that, you know what I'm saying, has an idea or a concept for a story, but don't know how to go about putting it on paper, or have written a story, but don't know how to go about publishing, tap in with your boy. I could walk you through either process or both. And I have one client that released their book last year in October. And it was ranked the #1 bestseller in 2 different genres. But,
wow.
Yeah, so and it's titled The Fatherless Child by Anthony McKinney. So yeah, y'all tap in with that for sure.
All right. So how can we get in touch with you and get a copy of this book?
Oh yeah, for sure. Available on Amazon or my website, ChanellorKJackson.com. Y'all can find me on almost every social media platform except TikTok. I ain't on there just yet, but you can find me on everything else. Just Google me. You know what I'm saying? Google Chancellor K. Jackson. Google 14 Days in Beijing. Everything you need pop up.
All right. Well, I thank you, my friend. Officially, I want to thank you for joining the Underground Subway, man. You have been an inspiration to all of us, and I want to say that I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us.
I appreciate you for having me and allowing me to showcase myself and my spirit.
All right. Maybe we could do it again and talk about the other book.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we definitely tap in. Yeah. Emotional intelligence.
All right. There you go. Well, my friends, we're out of time, but we want to give a special thank you to Chancellor K. Jackson for joining us. And I want to give a special thank you to you all for spending time with us, for listening to this edition of the Underground Subway. I really appreciate you, whether you're listening at work or with your iPods or on the treadmill or in the car, wherever you are. I want to thank you for joining us. I don't take it for granted that you don't have to do it, but you do. Well, I hear the music playing in the background, which means that we're pulling into this station. We're approaching Destiny Boulevard and Purpose Avenue, and you've got to hop off the train. You don't have to go home, but you got to get off this train. But I want to thank you and tell you that there's another edition coming real soon in which we're going to push you towards your destiny. Listen, before we go, and again, another special thank you to Chancellor K. Jackson. I want to challenge you before you go to bed tonight to find a mirror and look yourself in the eye and ask yourself a question. Today, did I do something to define myself and make this world a better place, or did I waste another day? You got no more time to waste, my friend. I'll see you next time right here on the Underground Subway.
Wanna hear you go.